we are going to make one last prediction on the show right now. What will the Bears do with the number 9 overall pick? Stick and pick, trade back, trade up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gregory, since you've been so enthusiastic and wanting to talk draft today, you get to go first.
Yeah, I mean, what's exciting about this is, just from a numbers game standpoint, the Bears are either going to have a wide receiver at 9, hopefully Rome Odunze, a lot of Rome and Caleb content going around the timeline.
Yeah.
The last 24 hours of flying on the same plane. Or they'll have the number 1 defensive player on the board available to them at 9.
Mm-hmm.
Or if those two aren't it, then that means there's a quarterback that falls to them at 9, presumably J.J. McCarthy. So in all 3 of those instances, the Bears are in a really good spot. Like the betting odds right now have Byron Murphy as the top defensive guy. And I think he's the odds-on favorite to be the pick at 9. It did change this morning. Last I looked,
I'll double-check your work.
Was the favorite to be the number 9 pick. But I'm going Rome Odunze, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to count on the Falcons to take a defensive player. And then I've also heard there's a lot of smoke around that teams want to trade up to draft offensive linemen. So trade up away, let Rome Odunze fall to us all day, pair him up with Caleb Williams, and let the games begin, ladies and gentlemen. That's my pick. The pick is in.
The pick is in. And, Greg, I like that because when I was thinking about this for the 9th pick, if the Bears are not moving back, and I think they're going to stay at 9, I was also leaning towards Rome Odunze, but you actually said the guy that I'm going to go with, Byron Murphy. And I just looked back at what Ryan Poles said yesterday about the defensive line position, how you can address it. He said if you have an outside guy, an edge guy, that's where you want to go get a dominant interior guy. The Bears do have Montez Sweat. You pair Byron Murphy with a Montez Sweat, that's going to make a lot of complications for opposing offensive line to be able to block both those guys. So I'm going to put it in right now, the pick at number 9 when the Bears select tomorrow night, Byron Murphy from Texas.
Okay.
So it kind of pains me. I just lied. It does pain me. It doesn't kind of pain me to be in complete alignment with Gregory P. Allen Braggs. But I am of the belief that Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams are not just going to be flying together to Detroit, but they're going to be flying back from Detroit, and they're going to be flying all over the country together. And the Bears are going to take a zillion phone calls tomorrow. But if that dude is there,
take him.
I think they're taking him. And I think I
Seems
guess
like him and Caleb are getting along splendidly here.
You don't want to end it there at the draft in Detroit.
They were playing football this morning in Detroit. Throwing it around.
I like that.
I do kind of wish that they were not doing all that together, and let's be a little more coy about this whole situation. There's
pretend like you don't know each other, guys.
Never seen them.
We don't need to go all the way. Up until last couple of days, I've been of the opinion that the Bears are going to trade down and take a lineman.
Same.
But I tend to just sort of believe in the betting market, which you're saying has moved today, which is interesting. That's
Yep.
I did not realize that it had moved. But, Vegas knows, man. They just seem to know. I don't know how they know, but they know. I don't know how the stadium is going to get built. It's going to get built. I don't know how Greg Braggs is going to get on board.
Albert Breer said Vegas doesn't know. I'm going to trust Breer. Breer was leaning if a wide receiver's there at 9, that's who they're going to take.
Okay.
And if not, then Byron Murphy or defensive lineman, I guess is what he said. Brock Bowers continues to be the wild card in this whole thing. It'll just be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Where he ends up going,
You really think the Bears would take Brock Bowers?
I mean, that's what's exciting about this. You know, it's hard to rule it out at this point. You can bring a lot of logic to that decision, even if it isn't necessarily a need. It's an amplifier and a multiplier on your offense, a guy that creates mismatches to an offense that values the tight end position with Shane Waldron and
you can make the
guy
case
that
for
can line up as a wide receiver. He's not just a tight end.
No, he's different.
So
He's different.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really exciting to see how it's going to be so chaotic tomorrow because we're going to be going crazy at Joe's on Wheat Street.
Yeah, I'm
Caleb
jealous,
Williams mania and the celebration of that moment. And then, the Washington Commanders are on the clock, and those next, 7 picks, are so vital to what's going to happen to the Bears at 9. So we all have to lock back in pretty quickly and watch this whole thing unfold and see if J.J. McCarthy, if a team trades up to get him, and specifically the Minnesota Vikings, and see how many receivers come off the board, see if any teams are going to trade up for an offensive lineman, and bump these receivers down towards us a little more. It's so exciting.
So it is interesting, and I guess I was just locked in on the stadium all day long that I missed this. But Byron Murphy is plus 125 to the Bears.
Yep.
And Odunze is plus 275. And they don't have him going 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a coin flip at 5 with him and Neighbors. But other than that, he's not favored anywhere else. So one of the two is going to be there. So that would be very interesting if either or Neighbors and or Rome is there and they take Murphy.
The way they have seemed to just put so much around the emphasis of, putting the right environment around Caleb Williams and
soft landing spot, right?
Yeah, and the free agent moves, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Gerald Everett. They bring in 2 centers, and then you bring in this entire offensive coaching staff. Like, just keep with that theme and keep putting stuff around him. Bring in Rome Odunze.
Yeah, and Gary's right. I had that. I said the Chargers. It's a 6 pick. It's Neighbors and Odunze. Neighbors is plus 150 to the Giants. Odunze is plus 250. So the Chargers are either McCarthy or Marvin.
All right. I'm happy now. We talk draft.
We all silly like the mayor.